It's Monday, September 10th, 2012. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight, my cell phone's too big. And I guess the tech news roundup.
Let's do this. You know the part where we say,
Yeah.
I'm Rim, I'm Scott, this Geeknights?
Yeah.
You know, we could just only record
You mean like way back when we recorded that one really good Let's Do This that we've been using to this day?
Right, we should only record the tonight blah, blah, blah part.
Yeah, that's a little more of a pain in the ass, and people might notice. Though, I think most of our listeners to this day do not realize that clip of us saying, let's do this, is literally from 2005. Nope, 2006.
There's no way they could not realize that it's exactly the same every
They
time.
might have figured it out the few times when I did a show by myself, and yet magically you were still here to say that.
There's no way that we could say something so precisely. You'd have to be a moron to listen to more than one or two shows.
But humans
more
have
than two or
terrible
three.
memory.
My memory, as bad as it may be at times, would not fuck something like that up.
All right, name any character from The Man Who Was Thursday, other than Thursday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday, and Friday. Gregory.
Okay, you got it. I kind of like Gregory. I'm hoping he comes
I
back.
finished it, by the way.
Oh, I have like 2 chapters to go.
Wait, I thought you finished it.
No, I've got close to the end. And
Oh,
I kind
well,
of petered
I'm
out.
glad I did not just
Yeah.
say something I was about to say.
I like Gregory
You
a
had
lot.
given me the impression that you had finished it long ago.
No, I'm basically... if I sit down for 45 minutes, I'm done with it.
Yeah, I blasted through it when I was at DjangoCon
The only thing
such
I'll say,
that I could read other things
It
now.
reminds me... This is our book club book, by the way. We probably have a lot of new listeners. It reminds me of the kind of book that in middle school would have been assigned to me to read and then write a 1-page paper
Were you
on.
reading the free edition?
No, I bought the really nice Kindle one.
Oh, you bought the Kindle one. Okay. Did it have footnotes on all sorts of things that were then...
No.
No? Okay.
No.
See, mine, whenever there were weird sort of...
References?
yeah, references to things that are no longer relevant to modern times, but you would have gotten them if you were alive in the 1900s.
Well, like what different hats and things?
Well, no, like he would make, he'd be like, oh, he made a... For example, there was one part where he says, oh, the something of Aesop, right? And then there's a whole thing in the back about how, like, actually, the pig of Aesop was, it was probably referring to this other fable by this other guy. Aesop never wrote any fables like that. But there's a fable by this other guy that's exactly like what he's referring to
But
here.
you missed the point, because the point was that he was referring to gibberish on purpose in that scene.
Sort of, right?
So
but
the footnote is irrelevant.
No, but if you read the footnote, then you know what that fable with the pig that by the other guy is about.
Nah.
That is super relevant. It's like, oh. So
That's the kind of Hamlet, he's crazy butt situation.
Exactly, where it's like, it's for example, if it was Shakespeare, it would be like, bite my thumb at thee, with the number 2 next to it. And you go in the back and it'd be like number 2, and it'd be like, yeah, a long
In
time
medieval
ago.
times, people would bite their thumbs off and throw them.
It would be like, that used to be an insult that basically meant fuck you, good sir.
I feel like everyone today knows that is an insult.
Of course, but I'm saying as an example, there are things in, Man Who Was Thursday where you would not know. Even a smart, well-read, educated person would not know unless they were 100 years old.
Regardless, we are back from PAX, but so we said there'd be a bunch of downtime, and there's gonna be beyond this, because next week I'm flying overseas for 1 or 2 weeks and all sorts of other craziness.
So there's no shows next for basically...
No.
There's only going to be 1 week of shows in September, which is this week.
we put out the call for guest episodes.
Did anyone answer the call?
Yes, I have 1 guest episode done, ready to rock.
One
and,
guest episode.
And we have someone else who looks pretty cool who promised another guest episode, so I'll probably have those up while we're gone next
guest
week.
episode.
Cool. And if I'm in India for the week after that, I might just record some things and send them out, or I don't know, I'll figure something out. But yeah, I'll save that for the meta. For those
so basically,
of you,
September's going to be light on shows, but October, the month of Geeknights, shows...
That's when I'm going to Turkey and Germany.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also Burning Con.
Is that October?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I thought it was December. I got to prepare more.
I don't know when it actually is.
I only half prepared. We'll talk about it in the meta
I gotta
moment.
finish preparing my game for recess. But so many of you are probably here brand new after PAX. You probably saw us do our awesome lectures and thought,
there's no way that you're listening to this show right now, because there's no way you remembered us.
I know, I
this
didn't even
many
have flyers.
a whole week after PAX.
We had no
How could you
flyers.
possibly remember we existed you probably started by listening to the last show we put up, and
I don't even know what that was.
only if you like that episode, which I don't think was probably the best episode in the world, would you be listening to this one.
It's been a while, but I'm full of. I am back in court and full of fresh ideas.
Sure.
I was referencing Agalaf.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we're back. We're bad. We're going to be not back soon, and then we'll be back again. But we wanted to talk about something very important because it's been pissing Scott off for a long time.
Not for a lot, just for a month or so.
Really? It's been pissing me off for longer. In fact, I've complained
It's
to
only been a
Conrad
problem
about it.
for months.
It's been a problem for me since I got my current phone, the Samsung Nexus S,
When did you get that phone?
like a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And the problem isn't that this phone is too big. The problem is that I can't get a phone this small when this phone eventually dies.
Yeah, it's really annoying that, you go to the phone store and all the smartphones now are gigantic. And it's like, wasn't sort of the point of a mobile phone that it's mobile and small, and just adding features to it without making it bigger is like, whoa, that's crazy awesome. You added all this stuff in that tiny phone. Holy shit,
Yeah,
how
my
did you
entire
get it
life,
in there?
I've never
Look at how
wanted...
fucking small that Palm Pre was, right?
Yeah, you know what? I pulled my Palm Pre out the other day, right? And I have it on my desk at work. I charged it up and I reset it, and I'm gonna see if I can figure out something cool to do with it because it's internet, it's a computer. I forgot how much I love that form factor. The only problem with the Pre, other than the lack of support by anyone, was the fact that the screen, while the right size, was too low res. If I had a Palm Pre identical, except that it had the screen resolution of this Nexus S, I would pay like $1,000 for that.
But anyway, nowadays, it seems like what everyone's doing, at least phone manufacturers, is going, shit, guys. We can't really fit all the stuff we want, like a giant-ass battery, inside the small phone. And it's kind of hard to get high resolution
The
with
battery is a red herring because they make the big-ass phone with the big-ass screen that eats the battery just as fast now.
Right. But it's also that, it's like, hey, if we make the screen bigger, it'll look more impressive and we can get the higher resolution. And, it's sort of like Best Buy faking the... I have a cough.
Got a cough? A little coughing?
Yeah, not really coughing that much when I'm not talking, which I wasn't doing a lot of.
Yeah, we didn't see you with Luke Burridge all week. More coughing. I'm not editing any of that shit out.
Wheezing. Coffee. Anyway.
Wobbuffet.
No, get the fuck out. What the fuck are you doing here?
Okay.
But yeah, it's sort of like in Best Buy where they fake the TVs, and people buy some 50-inch TV for their 3-inch living room.
Yeah. I mean, I went to a website when I bought my TV. My TV is pretty ridiculously big. It is the maximum size that actually works for the room. Any bigger, and you could not read subtitles or see the entire screen at once.
I'm pretty sure, according to the calculator, that the TV is too big for your room.
No, it's not. So here's the deal. There are two separate... Well, there are 3 calculations. One of them is for vision-impaired people. One of them was for, television watching, and one of them was for, quote, cinematic watching. And they kind of... The websites I used all broke them down among those 3, or at least 2 of those. And what they said was basically, if you primarily watch movies, you want to go 1 class bigger because it'll be about the same size as a movie screen if you're in a real theater. But they warned that if you're watching non-HD stuff, or if you're watching TV shows, it actually kind of sucks on that size TV because then it's a little too big. It'd be like watching, I don't know, Home Improvement or The Simpsons in a theater.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anyway, but beside the point, I think throughout all of human history, there's been this idea that bigger is better. I mean, from penises to TVs to cars to cell phones.
I think it's actually a unique, only for certain cultures, bigger is better.
Okay, so fine. In the history of Americans.
Well, I think there are other countries. I don't want to say America. I mean, it is America. But
It is America.
I think there are also other places in the world and other cultures besides just America where bigger is also better.
Probably.
But there are also places where smaller is better, like Japan. They like small things. They're compact and they fit in their small places.
I like small things too.
I also like small things.
But this is why it bothers me. My phone right now is literally the ideal form factor. I can hold it in one hand, I can touch, every part of the screen with my thumb.
That's right.
In fact, I have a really big hand. I could do the same thing with slightly bigger phones, but I'm kind of an odd case. I have abnormally long fingers, as I learned recently by measuring them and looking at a website.
You're not as long as Rachmaninoff.
Oh my God, I wish I had fingers as long as Rachmaninoff.
Yeah.
Not doing so well there. I think you're dying.
It's only because I keep talking. I didn't cough at all before we started doing the show.
No, you didn't. That is true.
Anyway, you didn't lie. Oh my God.
Why would I lie?
Because
why
you do
would I
that-
ever lie?
You lie often.
Captain McLie Pants. That, in fact, was a lie. Liar.
Anyway.
But it fits.
You know what's really bad about this coughing? I
Yeah.
keep losing whatever I was thinking about. When I start coughing, I'm just like, what was I saying?
So the phone also is really thin. It fits in my pocket. It's tiny. Battery lasts a long goddamn time unless I play like Oregon Trail all day.
Oregon Trail.
Oh my God, Oregon Trail. We'll talk about that in the next Tuesday show.
And so I try to find a synonym to the cell phone situation, and the first thing that comes to mind, well, TVs and SUVs, right? But the thing with TVs and SUVs is they still sell fucking small cars and small TVs if you want them. But with smartphones, it seems like no one is selling a small smartphone anymore. You go to the store and there just isn't one. And it's like, okay, there might be a thing that is technically a smartphone that is smaller, but it's crap. Like the smartphones that aren't the best smartphone may as well not exist.
I know. I mean, the thing is, the only exception to that is that to this day, I still assert that the Samsung Nexus S is the best non-iPhone phone hardware in the world.
But it's like you go to the cell phone store for any of the carriers or whatever, and you see a whole bunch of phones, and a lot of them are smartphones. But really, only 2 or 3 of them actually count, and the rest of them might as well be like, brick crap phones.
Yeah, and now when I go to the store, every one of those phones is like an inch bigger than my current phone with this gigantic screen.
It's like, what the fuck? I want a phone, not a fucking tablet.
No, the worst thing is, by we, I basically mean the sort of power technorati kind of users. We're the kind of excluded minority now, because normal people I talk to who just like have a smartphone or don't really think about it, not only do they want bigger phones, they complain that like the HTC Hero was too small. These are the people who buy a tablet, but yet at the same time want a bigger smartphone.
I don't get it.
I cannot understand where this is coming from.
It just maybe they, we are.
Well, no,
we
I
tend to
can
be
understand.
the kind of people.
I have to stop using that phrase. I don't understand. It's like I don't understand why Republicans want stupid things. Like, no, I do understand why. I just think it's stupid.
Right.
But
Well, I think what it is
why.
we're the kind of people who, somebody who is against us could say, well, you guys are just so, anti-conformist that you're intentionally, indoctrinating yourselves against
I bought the
what
most
we think we're
popular
supposed to
Android
be
phone when it was the-
indoctrinated to.
I bought the
so
most
if
popular
everybody
Android
else
phone
in the
when it
country is
was.
going bigger is better, we're going to go, no, smaller is better, just because.
I've always said smaller is better. I've always wanted
right,
the smallest
because you
possible
always
cell
wanted to
phone.
go against the grain. You've never not wanted to go against the grain.
No, it's because a small phone means I have less shit to carry in my pockets.
That's right.
That's all I want. The reason I want my phone to be small is because all my phone is, my entire life, it is just a link to the rest of the world that is always on me no matter what.
Yep. I think a lot of the people who want the big phones, I hear a lot of what they've been saying is like people keep talking about like watching videos.
That's what I was about to say. Everyone I've talked to, it's the same thing. They say that the primary thing they use their phone for is watching movies and videos and playing games.
Hold on. I did, when I was riding the train, watch full anime series on my iPhone 3G. I did that many times. And you know what? Okay, would bigger have been better? Maybe, but you know what? That iPhone 3G with his non-retina screen, watching like all of Evangelion, all of Escaflowne on the Metro North train. When you start watching something, it fills your whole field of vision, even though it doesn't fill your field of vision. It occupies your optical processing units of your brain, so you don't see anything else. It was just fine. Now I have good vision. Maybe people have
Now, it's independent if someone makes
I could read the subtitles with no issue whatsoever.
Even if vision is an issue, you know what I did? Because I didn't want to watch videos on my phone, I had a tiny phone that I didn't watch videos on, and I had my laptop on the train, and I watched stuff on that because...
I watch stuff on the laptop too,
Yeah.
but I also currently, I watch YouTubes on my iPhone 4 occasionally, and it's just fine. Having it bigger might be better, but it's not
No, it
something
would-
it wouldn't outweigh the pain of having a gigantic phone that I have to use 2 hands to hold and is big and clumsy.
I mean,
and-
my phone, I got a shoulder mount, so when I run, I can have it like on me because I carry my phone in the shower. Like when I go into the bathroom, I just put it like in the cupboard and just sits there waiting for me to come back.
Oh, I thought you meant you brought it into the shower.
Well, I occasionally I read Slashdot while I was soaking my lower half.
Anyway, the rumor is, and we'll find out, I guess, in a few days, the iPhone 5.
If the iPhone 5 is bigger than the iPhone 4, I'm not getting it.
Well, the rumor is it is bigger. But
I think the rumor's BS. I'll say that.
Hold
I think
on.
it's a false rumor.
The specific part of the rumor is not that it's big like, the freaking Android Samsung Galaxy Giganto
oh my
size.
god! If you wanted that big, just buy a tablet.
The
Jesus.
rumor
Anyway.
is that it is the same width so that you can still get your thumb all the way across, and it is only slightly taller so that 16:9 videos will play with no
Okay.
bars on the side.
That is fine.
That that is acceptable. I would rather not, but if that is my choice, obviously I'm just gonna buy that.
But no, all of you listeners out there, I want to know, why do you want a gigantic phone if you could buy a tablet?
well, a lot of the people say, "Oh, it's not too big," and it's like they're like, "Oh, it fits in my pocket just fine."
Yeah,
and
everyone who
my
said
hand
that-
is really big. I can reach all the way across it. What's the problem? And it's like, the same people have an SUV and they say all these things about
I
it.
think it's just a matter of their use cases are very different. These are the people who I think travel and then they don't have a good laptop or they don't carry it with them. Probably because they have a gigantic laptop too.
Yeah, they have gigantic everything probably.
The thing is, gigantic laptops are way cheaper at least. Like a small laptop that's powerful is way more expensive than a big laptop that's equally powerful.
That's true.
But when it comes to the phones, like I've watched, I won't
There's
name
a
any
reason
names,
smaller things are more expensive. They're
but-
better.
But people I know who I see with these gigantic, stupid phones, they carry them around everywhere. And when they visit someone, they use it as their computer, and it occupies a good deal of their mental sort of concentration.
Well, I mean, I do use my phone like a computer quite often, but it doesn't. It's just fine that it's the size it is.
yeah, well, I think,
don't need it to be
see,
bigger.
you're missing my point. My point is that these are the people who maybe show up at a social event or go somewhere for a weekend and spend a good deal of their time. Not just while I'm waiting for you to take your turn in mini golf, but while we're sitting around on the beach, just constantly using their phone.
I don't even
for
bring my
bullshit.
fucking phone to the beach. And what if it gets sand and shit?
I do in a plastic bag because I want to have my phone.
What if someone takes it out of my
No
towel?
one's gonna take it.
I don't take my phone to
No
the
one
beach.
steals shit in Wildwood.
I
I
don't-
wouldn't know.
I don't bring my phone to any beach.
When-
It's
now,
nothing to do with Wildwood.
When I went to Rockaway Beach, I carried my fucking bike onto the beach. And then I locked it up, the chain, through the wheels, on the beach on my towel. And then as I swam, I looked back at it every 2 seconds.
I don't bring anyway.
Yeah, so I'd like to
The
hear, I'd like to hear from some of you.
But the thing that bothers me is you read articles talking because it's phone season, right? All the new phones are busting out for
Yep.
holidays shopping, and iPhone included. And all the articles that talk about this, when they bring up size, they sort of take for granted that bigger is better. I read 3 articles, and all of them were they did the pro and con thing, and they're like, pro, it's faster. Con, too small. iPhone 5. If the rumor's true, it's gonna be too small. And it's they'll go Samsung Galaxy, 100. Pro. It's so awesomely big, guys. And it's you're just taking
Now,
for granted that
meanwhile,
bigger is better.
On the other side of this, notice how there's this move toward, there's a lot of rumors of different people having tablets that are one size smaller than the current sizes. So there'll be a tablet that is halfway between the current tablets
Yeah, Kindle
and
size
the biggest
tablet.
phone.
Kindle size tablet instead of iPad size tablet.
This is where I'm really confused. I do not think there is a place in the market for every one of these sizes.
No, what it is that they're really, if you buy all these devices, you're going to find that you really don't use them all a lot.
Well, couple this
right?
with a trend I've seen, more and more people also will have a tablet with 3 or 4G, and they use it effectively as a cell phone.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I've seen people doing that.
It's like anyone holding up an iPad to take a picture. I actually didn't see anyone at PAX doing that.
Yeah, not
But if I
one.
did, I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Granted, at PAX one year, I saw a guy holding up his MacBook Pro and taking video. I was just waiting for him to drop it.
But anyway, Yeah, it's that. I think what it is a large component of this is not people need a device of every possible different size. It's that companies are just looking for something to sell, and they're telling people what to want, and that works. Of course it works.
Yep.
It's worked for a long time.
I think there's going to be a coming bust, at least in the tablet market, much like the sort of Asus EPC style crappy.
I think it'll take, it'd be sort of like, netbooks lasted a couple years. So give it 2 to 3 years, and what you're going to see, I think, is that people will realize, people bought netbooks and then realized that they were worthless and didn't use them. So you're going to see 2 to 3 years, people are going to realize which combination of devices and sizes they actually use, and they're going to upgrade those devices. Some guy who bought every size, he's going to have the phone, the tablet, the computer, the laptop. He's going to realize, I'm not really using, this tablet so much. I'm not really using my laptop anymore, but I am using this tablet, and maybe he'll figure out that all he needs is small phone, big tablet, and desktop, and he won't rebuy laptop, or some other guy will realize he only needs big phone, and laptop, and people will not rebuy the thing that they don't use, and the things that they do use they'll upgrade, and
True.
then the things you'll see they'll stop selling the things that people aren't upgrading.
But what I will say is that I don't think that'll happen in any conscious way. No one who is guilty of that is going to realize what they've done.
No. The guy who's got, say, iPhone and Kindle tablet and doesn't use his big iPad anymore, right? Because he has a laptop. That big iPad is sitting in a drawer, forgotten, or maybe he gave it away to someone. And then the devices that you have and use, you think about, and when a new one of those comes, you think of upgrading it.
Now, one good thing, don't get me wrong, the idea that we're converging on this world where they're all just computers to some degree, and you just use whatever physical device is the most convenient form factor is the future.
Of course.
But it seems like...
Which combination of form factors...
Well, it seems like everyone's rushing to very large form factors without a lot of thought. And I think they forget the convenience of having a phone that effectively takes up 0 space and has a battery that lasts a long time.
Yep.
Because the phone, in the end, is the minimal core communication device. Even though I don't use it for the phone part, ever.
Yeah.
But anyway, things of the day. I know this might seem late to the party, but enough people I know had not seen this before that I feel like it's worth mentioning. So there's a song called Somebody That I Used to Know that I actually had not heard the song until long after I saw this parody of the song. But this parody of it is that Star Wars that I used to know, and it is both very well done from a sort of production value level, but also very well done from a satire, parody, and poignance angle.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's about why the new Star Wars is possibly bad, and George Lucas is a bad person.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
also Hans shot first.
I think people have probably already seen this, but it's because it's from 2010. This may have even been a thing of the day in the past. I don't know.
Oh, you didn't even try to find out?
Yeah, I did a bad job. Let me just.
You look it up right now? Now I gotta kill time while you're looking it up. All right, I'm doing another thing of the day while you wait. So
2 things of the day.
So this is I'll do this as a secondary thing of the day. At PAX, this is a Monday show. Many of you may know, or you may not know, that NASA showed up and did an hour-long lecture in the main events hall. It was really well done. And at the end of it, they did a TED-style sort of inspirational speech about what space means in the future and games and what it's all going to be. And it was amazing. And I can say without any reservation that a good number of people in the audience were visibly and audibly choked up during it.
Okay, so even though this is from 2010 and it was reposted all over the internet recently, it's still something that was never a thing of the day, even though it definitely feels like it was. So here we go. You probably saw this if you're an internet person, but what happened is there was this guy a long time ago in like 1909.
57.
So around the
58.
time of our book club book, right? And he was in Russia hanging out with Nicholas II. And he had a camera, because cameras existed then, even though they were the poofy kind with the, And what he did is he was very smart. He took a green filter, and he took a black and white picture with the green filter. And then he took a black and white picture with the red filter. And then he took a black and white picture with the blue filter. and then or whatever the 3 color, right? Green, red, blue, right? And then he put the 3 pictures together and he made color photos. This isn't someone taking a black and white photo and Photoshop coloring it. This is actually fucking color photos from Russia in 1909 through 1912. It's kind of freaky because you don't think that the world looked the way, but it totally did. You know it did, right? And it sort of looks like you're looking at National Geographic photos of a foreign place that has old technologies, but it is a foreign place with old technologies, but it's the past.
Yep.
It's not like this anymore.
There's always something very startling about seeing a color picture of something that traditionally is viewed as being in black and white, like World War I.
Right, but the quality of the photos is just unbelievably high, like the resolution, because the method was so, awesome. I mean, they had good resolution then with, photos, because using horrible chemicals and whatnot, they just had no color without this clever trick. So, you should look at these awesome photos from over 100 years ago that are in full 100% color that were not photoshopped.
So, in the meta moment where we talk about all the kind of meta stuff,
we've already
to keep it out of the
covered
rest.
half the meta moment.
Yep, we did 3 panels at PAX. The one at PAX Dev we obviously cannot talk about. The other one is going to be on YouTube as soon as I edit it together. And the Board Game Workshop, if you read the rules to Agricola, that is the workshop.
Ta-da!
Ta-ding!
Okay, so let's never talk about PAX in the meta moment again until PAX East.
Nope, PAX East is coming up.
Let us instead say
MagFest coming up.
MagFest is after New Year's, so you got a few months here of not so much. I think New York Comic Con is somewhere in there.
I'm probably not even going, to be honest.
Yeah, I might go for one day at most.
I don't even think I'm going to go for one day. I was looking at what is going to be there, and I'm not interested in the New York Comic Con anymore.
Yeah, really. But anyway, the end of October, 26, 27, 28 is our next convention, Burning Con 2012, the Triumvirate. If you are anywhere close to New York City and you enjoy the tabletop role-playing games, this is the thing that you must do.
Now remember, this is a curated event, meaning that you can only run and play games that are from the authors of board games or of tabletop games who are running the event.
Now, here's the way this event is going to work a little different from previous Burning Cons. Here it goes. Here's how it works. A weekend registration, $50. A one day, $30. And the way it works is the same way as other Burning Cons. You show up, you get to play in all the game in one session. They have a priority system where if you're a tabletop role player, you should be able to figure out the priority system and how it works. And you play some role-playing games run by other people, and then you have to run one game yourself, as sort of...
Now, that's the key. To play, you gotta run. There is no exception to that.
That's right. Now, they're adding a thing this year, right? It is the $10 beginner track. Now, that doesn't mean it's only $10. It means you add $10 to your badge price, and you can go to the beginner track, which is for beginners. And the way this works is on the first day of the con, you sit there and pretty much Luke Crane teaches you fucking Burning Wheel. So you learn. That's like getting, Gary Gygax teaching you D&D on day 1. And then on day 2, you run a game because you have to run a game.
Yeah.
But he teaches you how to run the game in day 1, even if you've never played, or maybe, in fact, I'm pretty sure if you've never role-played tabletop or LARP.
He made a big point about how if you sign up for that and it is obvious you are not a beginner, he will kick you the fuck out of it.
Yeah, that's right, because you're trying to get away without running, a proper game for everyone else. You're trying to scam the system. So, anyone who's a beginner, you've never role-played before, you wonder what's up, it's only 2 days of your life. You should totally do it. It's worth it.
Now, guys, also, seriously, don't just run a game. Just go for it. It's not that hard to run a game. People are super friendly at things like this. I know a lot of people who aren't going because they're afraid to run a game.
Mm-hmm.
I am running Into the Mountain. The
same game you ran last time?
Yes. Much improved, however, and converted to Burning Wheel Gold.
I'm running a new game that I just came up with.
I might play your game.
New scenario?
I immediately kill myself.
Oh, you want to play in my game?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, not if you're going to be a dick.
My character's a dick, not me.
Well, none of the characters are, actually, it's kind of funny, right? In that, usually when I play a Burning Wheel, I make a character that's a dick, right? So when I made a scenario, I made one good character and 3 dicks. And it's pretty much the 3 dicks dicking each other. and the one not dick being like, "Arr." Anyway, I don't know. Whatever other meta shit can wait. Book Club book is The Man Who Is Thursday. It's on fucking Project Gutenberg. It's free. We're gonna do the episode real soon.
The Man Who Was Thursday.
Probably, most likely, the next Thursday episode. Who knows when that's gonna be?
We'll do it whenever. The book is short. Just read it. It's also pretty cool. And if nothing else, I'll say this. Even if you hate it, there are some gems of quotes in here that you would behoove you to memorize and spit out at people.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't fucking memorize them. But when I came across them, I was like, snap.
They're the kind of quotes you got to put effort into memorizing. They're not the ones you'll just remember.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's do something.
All right. So, since we've missed a ton of stuff, I think it's time for
since we sort of ranted in the first half.
Howdy, y'all. Time for a tech news roundup.
We haven't done one since March, so we can totally do this. It's okay.
So I want to start right off because today, GoDaddy went down.
I think that's actually really good thing that this happened because, everyone who
So
uses...
what's funny is I heard it went down. Like, I was at work, right? And we're actually migrating to Google Mail, but we still have some GoDaddy stuff like running as we shut it all down. So the people still on GoDaddy are like, my email's not working. So I look on Twitter, and it's like, duh, GoDaddy's down. Duh, GoDaddy's being DDoS'd. And Twitter knew way before anyone else knew.
Yeah, of course. I pretty much, if something is happening right now, I always search Twitter before I search Google News or anything else. But anyway, so GoDaddy, this is cool because...
They suck.
Yeah,
they're a terrible company.
I think it's one of those ones where a lot of people are on them, and the reason people are customers of them is because they got into it somehow in the past. Like, you didn't know who to register your domain with, so you went with GoDaddy because that's sort of like the one or something, and it's cheap, Or people like got GoDaddy email before Google really existed or Gmail was good, or So they have a ton of customers, and they get customers because like people who aren't super internet-y don't know where else to register domains. And like GoDaddy is domain registry, sort of synonymous for a lot of people. But I think most of the people who are sort of entrenched in there, as opposed to the new clueless customers, want to leave, but that sort of works. It does work. And even though they don't like GoDaddy, they're just like, well, they just go with the flow. They're not going to put in effort. They're so lazy. They don't want to just, do work to get off of it, even though they don't like it. So this is like, aha, now they're down. Now what are you gonna do? And I think a lot of more people are gonna bail.
Well, I saw something like they lost a ridiculous number of subscribers, not that long ago when they backed SOPA.
And that was a small, impetus to leave. Now your fucking website doesn't work because their DNS server's down and your DNS is hosted there.
No, part of the
one
problem
can
is
visit your site.
a lot of people seem to point directly at their DNS.
Well, that's what it does by default. If you register a domain with them, you don't think people know to change DNS servers but keep GoDaddy as the registrar?
You know
Who
how
the
many
fuck
people
knows
my
how to
support team was dealing with today? They're calling and they're like, I can't get to your website. And we're like, can you get to any website? They're like, no.
Yeah. But anyway, I think it's good. A lot of people will leave GoDaddy. The thing is, the news articles are, of course, not accurate. What apparently happened, this was done by one anonymous guy, but a lot of articles are saying anonymous brings down GoDaddy. But it's like, no, it was actually one anonymous guy, at least claims that he did it, right? So who knows?
Well, anonymous guy. I mean,
reality.
I guess it was me.
Yeah. No, it is one specific guy who is like anonymous _ something on Twitter.
Yeah, but he
like
may
that.
or may not be. There is
Yeah,
no
I don't
anonymous.
think he's proved that he did it. He just has taken claim that he did it
Also,
on his own.
what is anonymous? I mean, it's the I'm Spartacus situation.
Exactly. But anyway, that's...
But yeah, I've just, between tasteless advertising, shady business practices, and the whole SOPA thing, I have no truck with GoDaddy.
Why would anyone still be a customer of GoDaddy if you knew how to change?
I think that is the only reason GoDaddy has customers.
Yeah.
So you got something? Tech News Roundup, your turn.
Oh, I have
Do I need to
take
take
a
another turn?
But I mean, I thought we sort of went. I didn't open up my.
All right, let's talk about...
Because my internet didn't work because
let's
your
talk about
router is awful.
Google Fiber getting rolled out in Kansas City, and they set up...
we talked about that a while ago.
So they had all these neighborhoods. There were 202 neighborhoods that were offered the service. And I don't know exactly what the process is, but apparently now that the deadlines have come in, 90% of them said, hells yeah.
Of course, hells yeah. People are, no one's that dumb.
Now, what's interesting is that a lot of the people in neighboring neighborhoods that are kind of outside of this seem to be of the opinion that AT&T and other providers in those areas are doing everything they can to keep the Google Fiber out forever.
Yep. Well, because the thing is, right, their choice is, do you keep the Google Fiber out or
do you try to compete with it?
Try to compete with it, and like they can't compete with it because then they're fucked.
I mean, look, Fios will have a hard time competing with it, and Fios is actually kind of horribly kicked out of areas even in New York City by Comcast and other companies that don't want to compete with it.
Well, here's the real problem, right? So you use this sort of, you have this sort of collusion that's going on to jack up the prices with these local monopolies and the whole thing. So your prices are way high, so you're making a lot of money, and you can't really go to more other places because some other guy has a local monopoly, so you can't expand that much. So you're a public company, though. You have to grow. You're not allowed to shrink.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck that. Local monopolies should be like regulated like Japanese
obviously.
healthcare. They have a cap on profits, and everything else has to be refunded to customers.
Right, but it's basically you have to keep growing because that's what public companies have to do.
But I think there's a
so
solution.
if you suddenly have to compete in a price war, this is why they collude. If you even if they're not actually literally getting together in secret meetings and colluding, they collude by accident because they all need to grow. So if one guy goes low to take all the customers, everyone else goes low, and the customers will not. Everyone knows everyone will drop down in the price war. The margins will shrink, and everyone will shrink. There's no way to win. The battle of the price war.
There's also the situation of
it will guarantee to make your company shrink and not grow. And
but in some neighborhoods,
even if you're profitable and doing well, you will be losing.
But in some neighborhoods, like co-ops and condo boards and things, and in like certain apartment buildings, one company will actually get an exclusive contract with that building to prevent anyone else from going in straight up.
Yep. But now Google comes in, and it's like usually the only people who, an outsider who sees a collusion situation, he doesn't, to get any business for him is growing as opposed to shrinking. So that's the person they're worried about. If you come in from the outside with a low price, you're just basically going to fuck all of them. And, we talk about how like, well, this slow adoption here, right? Who's going to really, people are lazy to go off GoDaddy. People are lazy to, get, we're going to find out what size tablet or phone they need. But when people really hate something, and people really hate...
Everyone hates their local telco.
Everyone hates them so bad, right? That even normal people hate their Comcasts and the Cablevisions and the, people...
What is our friend George? He's been tweeting nothing about how the local internet
Time
been
Warner's,
fucking him.
Everyone hates Time Warner's, right? And people hate their mobile phone carriers so much. If one person came into the market with a viable product at a real price that wasn't bullshit... everyone would switch to them like that. Like, boom. So this is exactly what's happening. Google's coming in. Because it's Google, they can't keep them out because Google's so big. And everyone, even normal people's like, oh, you kidding me? I can get away from Comcast, Time Warner, AT&T? Fuck yeah.
It's not just that. It's that it's so cheap and it's so fast.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. But yeah, the fact that I see some, some of the older media people who are surprised that so many people are, going on board with Google. Duh.
Yeah. If Google made a mobile phone carrier, guess what would happen?
So, speaking of Google, they've recently put forth this idea. I don't know if it's live, but some people claim to have been running into them, where instead of having a paywall, they have a survey wall.
So you can't do this thing until you take the survey?
Yeah, you click on a thing in Google News, and it pops up a little survey, and you fill it out.
Google News? I've never seen that.
Yeah, that's where people suggest it would go.
Hulu sometimes does that with like the ads will have a survey in them, but you don't have to take it. You can just wait or skip it or whatever,
Yep, so apparently Google demoed this new thing 18 months ago to publishers saying this is something we'd like to offer.
I'm sure Google would love to. Basically, what that means is on your website, Google's never going to put it on their website. It's on your website. You're stupid, and you decide that.
No. So when I say Google News right now, remember what Google does is that if they can't get to your site because you have a paywall, you're just not listed. Like those articles don't show up in Google News.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what they're gonna. Maybe they'll make a deal where if you use the survey wall, you can still be listed on Google News. That's the speculation.
The big thing I do notice, though, that on Google News, a lot of times I'll click on something on my phone on Google News, and there won't necessarily be a wall of any kind, but they'll get one of those pages that's like, install the app or continue to the news.
Oh my God, fuck that. Listen, local news team, I'm never going to install your app.
No kidding. And the worst is when someone links to a news from Facebook, and it's like, click on it, and it's like, you must use our app to read this article. And it's like,
nope.
The article's on your website, but because there's a link on Facebook and you have some things set up, it's forcing me to install a Facebook app to read your article. Guess what? I'm just not going to read your article.
Now, the trouble with these, one, I find the price is kind of ridiculous. It says in the article that companies have said straight up that you're willing to pay a rate of $150 per 1,500 responses.
Mm-hmm.
So, one, I don't, if anything like that ever appears, I just close it. And if I can't get to the content without clicking through it, I pretty much click randomly until it disappears.
Yep.
I can't imagine I'm not the only one.
No.
I'm dubious of this, but it's a ripoff to the people paying for it in the same way that most internet ads are ripoffs to the people paying for them.
Here's something I've sort of realized lately, right? You look around the world, and you can sort of organize companies into a few categories. Well,
The ones who get it, the ones that don't,
well,
and the ones that don't need to get it.
You can organize anything into any number of categories. That's a pointless thing to say. But I see some companies that do a real business of some kind and make a money for a reason. For example, a laundromat makes money. They provide a service. They clean your goddamn laundry. They make money. You buy soap. You put coins in the machines. They're selling you a thing directly. There are other companies that they don't really make anything. Take, for example, the Olympics, right? What does the Olympics make? Nothing. They sell tickets, I guess.
You could argue that they manufacture entertainment.
Yeah, but I mean, the entertainment isn't really something, it's sort of ephemeral. Most of their money, right, comes from ads, right? Sponsorships and advertisements is where the bulk of their money comes from. They don't make enough money from the tickets and the direct sales to pay for the whole thing. It's way too expensive. So, because of that, what ends up happening to a company like the Olympics or a newspaper, right, is that you're still owned by yourself. You make all the decisions for yourself, but you have these advertisers who give you most of your money. And the advertisers, they don't give a fuck about your business. They only give a fuck about their business. But they're not dumb. They know maybe, they're not so dumb that they think that their ads are actually working.
See, now here's the problem. Every study I ever read about this says that certain kinds of ads work so well that their industries depend upon them entirely. And those industries are
cars,
the
beer.
upper end alcohol industry
Yep.
and the car industry. I read something, it was talking about how the majority of people today who buy cars buy the first car that they test drive with doing no research, and they're primarily influenced by advertisements they saw for said car.
Yep. But anyway,
and notice how if you watch The Daily Show, it's nothing but alcohol and car ads.
Of course. But the point is, alcohol and car companies actually make something. Daily Show doesn't really make something, right? So what ends up happening...
It makes entertainment.
It does, but it doesn't make a thing... They don't make money directly. They made all their money from the ads. And the ad companies, they might know... Their ads may or may not work, but they recognize the fact that that company would not exist if not for their ads. So they boss that company around. Right? For example, Visa at the Olympics was like, hey, Olympics, in the Olympic area, no one's allowed to accept any credit card but Visa, right? And they know that that's not good for the Olympic people. It makes them look bad, but they don't give a fuck. They're like, whatever. We can come up with any ridiculous demand we want, and you have to say yes, because if we pull our gigantic sponsorship, you're fucked.
So this is why things like Kickstarter are so disruptive. Look at the Penny Arcade Kickstarter.
Right.
It was basically, you know what? We're not going to have ads anymore if you guys just give us the money right now.
In effect, a company that depends on advertising, even if you have a business other than advertising, if advertising is a large enough part of your revenue, remember, you have to keep growing. You can't shrink. You have to do what advertisers tell you to do. They're sort of like they own your company in a way, and they can give you orders, and you have to choose to either hurt your business badly or obey, but they take on none of the risk. So they'll just order you to do ridiculous things like dance for me, monkey dance, or you'll be out of business because I give you 25% of your revenue as my advertising dollar.
See, the thing is, I still think, and I've predicted this for a while, I think we're getting actually kind of close to the point where it'll start to happen. I think there's going to be a crash in the online advertising
I
market.
think it'd be a crap, but as an example, so the newspaper, your newspaper, right? Newspapers are a little different than other businesses, and they sort of have this ethical thing where you can't necessarily write articles.
That's never really been true.
Exactly, but other companies that are not newspapers don't even have that not really been true ethics. They got nothing.
Penny Arcade did.
That Penny Arcade had its own ethics.
Yeah,
but
their own ethic of, we'll nominally only advertise things that we directly and literally
Well, not
approve of.
nominally. They will only, right?
Well, that's what they say. I say nominally because I can't read their brains.
That's true. But other companies that aren't Penny Arcade with a stated ethos or newspapers with a supposed to have an ethos, they just can do whatever. The Olympics, they can just do whatever the fuck advertisers tell them, and there's nothing wrong or unethical about that whatsoever. They can just totally do whatever, right? So these newspapers, some advertiser says, yeah, you know what? Fucking, it would be really nice for me as an advertiser. I don't care if anyone sees your content or hates your newspaper. That doesn't matter to me. So why don't we just turn your site into a survey that gives me information I really need to make my product sell better?
So, Scott, since you brought this up,
and the newspaper's choice is lose a large chunk of revenue.
I pose to you a question. How do we pay for content that does require money to make?
Mm-hmm.
I oppose it because we don't have an answer. No one has an answer. Whoever answers that effectively wins.
But the point is, if you owned a company like, say, a magazine, right?
No, I'm a bad example. Because I've gotten
and
closer and closer to the upper ends of business, and I know what pitches work like, and equity, all that stuff, I've seen a trend in a lot of mid to smaller size companies not becoming public and remaining privately owned, so they can do whatever the fuck they want, and then thus, say I ran a game studio, if I made enough money to pay everyone who worked for me good money, I would not try to grow.
Okay, but let's say you have a company that already exists, right?
Yeah.
And
I would not see. That's the thing. I wouldn't work for that company.
No, you own this company,
all right?
It's a it's a privately owned company you own.
Yep.
And 25% of your monies comes from an advertiser.
See, I would not assume that revenue stream in the first place. And if I were put on
but
the
I say
board,
no, but it's already there, and the advertiser is a good advertiser. They only want completely tasteful ads, and it's totally legit, and you like them, and you have a good relationship with them, right? And you're
all
friends
right.
with them, and they're not bad. And 25% of your money comes from ads they buy.
Okay, that's fine.
One day they come to you and they say, "Look, we would really like it if you put this horrible pop-up."
Fuck you, I'll go out of business before I'll deal with that bullshit.
And then they say, "Okay," and they take away 25% of your revenues.
So I've lost more revenue than that on things before, and you get it back easily.
All right, what if it's 50%?
Well, if it was 50%, that's what. If any one source of my company's revenue was more than 20%, already I would have sort of weekly or monthly meetings of how do we distribute our income such to not be beholden to anyone.
Right, and what if your options are
Well, if my options are then my business model was fucked anyway.
Yeah.
And
now here's the
that's when you try something radical.
All right, try this. Ready? It gets
King
worse.
radical.
You ready? You're set. You don't own the company. You're lower on the totem pole. You're gonna be second or third down the line, right?
Okay, you're gonna like my answer. I know where you're going with this.
Half of the revenues come from an advertiser. The advertiser makes these ridiculous demands, like only accept Visa.
All right, is this company paying me my salary?
And wait, the boss is totally okay with that. He's just like, just fucking do it.
Are they paying me my
Let's
salary?
only accept Visa, guys.
Are they paying me my salary?
Yes.
I don't care.
Don't
give one shit.
Don't give any shits.
I
Look at
only
all
care.
the fucks he gives.
I only give a fuck if either I have a vested interest in the company or I'm passionate about what the company does.
Exactly. So we have this situation where most of these companies don't have RIM as the number one. They might have RIM as number two or lower, but it doesn't matter because
RIM number two quits. Look at Facebook.
The majority
as soon as
of these
IPO
number
happened,
ones,
all the number twos quit.
The majority of these number ones just say yes to these advertisers, and they're living off advertising money, and they're just like, "Wee, who gives it? We're making money. Yeah, awesome."
Yep.
And they just basically what they're operating is not the company they think they're operating. They're not operating a newspaper. They're operating basically just a place for, ad inventory for this advertiser. And really the advertiser owns them. Doesn't really own them on paper, but sort of
Scott,
de
much
facto
like in the
owns them in that-
1920s, the factory owner owns the worker.
Right. The advertiser
town.
de facto owns your company in that they can give you any order they want to benefit their business, and your choices are obey or be fucked.
Obey.
And the advertiser who's is taking no risk. The advertiser could start his own magazine if he wanted to. Like GameStop owns their own magazine, right? But then it's a risk because you're paying for this thing. Whereas, there's no risk. It's like, oh my God, some ad inventory disappeared. There's other inventory. We'll just move that money elsewhere. We don't give a shit. Someone else lost their job. No one at our company got hurt at all by that newspaper going out of business. So they'll tell So they'll tell all the newspapers, yeah, it'd be great if your newspaper was really just a thing to collect data for us. That would be great. Why don't you do that right now?
It's very simple. I have a sense of business ethics and would never ask anyone who worked for me to do anything that I was morally opposed to.
No, you're asking some company that some other company you don't give a shit about.
Oh, and I don't play. You realize how many times when anyone in any industry asks me advice about things involving like two customers that have competing interests or anything like that, my answer is always a fistful of dollars. And basically, if someone gets the reference, I usually know they're good.
Yeah.
But that's an aside.
2 rocks. They throw rocks at both the customers.
Anyway, to move on. So, Kindle, Amazon announced that the new Kindle Fire was going to have ads. You couldn't get rid of them.
Yeah, up until now, you've been able to buy Kindles with or without ads. And the idea was...
Well, this is the Fire, the tablet.
Right. But, the regular Kindle, at least, you could buy it without ads, or you could buy it with ads, and it would be cheaper, but then you could pay money to make the ads go away.
Now, I bought my Kindle without ads because seriously...
I also bought mine without ads.
Seriously?
I also don't...
Scott,
I've never bought a Kindle book.
1995 called. They want their free PC back.
Well, I think it's actually, there is a place for it, right? In that... on the one hand, you've got device. Someone wrote a thing on the internet a week or so ago, a few days, and it was like, hey, look, I think it was a guy writing on Google Plus, and he's like, look, Google, they sell you this thing for cheap because they want you to look at their ads. Amazon sells you this thing for cheap because they want you to buy Amazon products through it. It's a bait and switch. Apple is selling you the thing, and what do they want to do? They want to sell you the thing. Right? That's why the Apple thing is not a bait and switch. Instead, the Apple thing is a ridiculously high margin and costs a zillion extra dollars.
Well, I have an ideological problem with this, just in the sense that in all of history, the moment you have hardware that has arbitrary software restrictions like this,
Yep.
what did everyone smart do who got one of those free ad PCs? They installed Linux on it or something.
That's right.
Or what about the people who got the bar in the bottom that would show you ads and you'd pay you like a penny a day to have those ads there? And you'd have like 1,000 of those toolbars with a macro that moved your mouse around randomly?
Yeah. But anyway,
I did that for a while.
Yeah,
I made like $10 over the course of a year.
Great. You could have just done virtual machines.
No, I had an old 486 that we weren't using. So I installed this. There weren't virtual machines back then, not like now.
Yeah.
I just got this ad bar running as many times as I could, and I had the Windows macro thing that I copied from my Windows 3.1.1. And literally my mouse just went digga 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 digga. I left it running for like weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah, but I think there is this place for...
Actually, it probably only made a few dollars. I just don't remember.
These sort of subsidized by bait and switch devices. Sell you a music player because for cheap because I'm gonna make money on the blades.
I'm fine with that.
I'm also fine with it because
I don't like it.
As long as I will still buy your razor that needs blades, as long as it operates without blades. I bought a Kindle. I paid for no ads. Right? It was only slightly more expensive, and you know what? I've never bought a single Kindle book that has DRM that was not free. Not ever. Not once. And it's like, it doesn't like magically turn off or anything. It doesn't not work. It's a device, and it works as a device, and I got it for cheap because someone else is subsidizing it by buying Kindle books and looking at ads.
But that's at least an indirect subsidization.
It's not my problem, and you know what? Everyone can do it, and then basically Amazon will be forced to either A, realize, oh, this Kindle's not working out for us, and they'll stop making it, or B, they'll go to the Apple road.
Here's why I was a little more mad about this one in particular, because one,
you couldn't turn it off.
So
and two, it's basically buy that device.
It
wasn't a bait and switch. It was just switch.
But it was just, here, there are ads on your thing, not just on the sleep screen, which isn't visible all the time, but also at the lower right-hand corner of your little desktop or whatever, all the time.
No, I thought it was just on the sleep screen.
Yeah, and they announced, no opt-out and all that. There was an internet shitstorm, and within one day they retracted it and decided that, you know what, you can opt out for $15. What bothers me is what Bezos said about it.
He said most people leave the ads and
No.
don't care.
I don't care about that because I know that. Conrad said something that I do agree with. He pointed out that what Amazon is going after with these devices that are subsidized is a recently emerged demographic that literally does not care at all about privacy or advertising and will trade anything they have that is not physical property or money for content.
Well, I mean, look at, how many people at PAX are like desperate for swag. Oh my God, free
Exactly.
shit. Oh, look at all these free t-shirts. Oh my God, some ugly ass t-shirt that I'd be embarrassed to wear except while sleeping. And you're like fighting to get
That
it.
is a perfectly valid demographic to go after, though you could argue there are ethical considerations
Those
around
are the only
it.
people advertising works on, so that's the only people you can get. Smart people going to do what
So
smart
here's what
people going to
bothers me,
do.
because this reminded me a little bit of Larry Ellison and his bullshit from many years ago. Jeff Bezos said, and I quote, "We want to make money when people use our devices, not when they buy our devices."
Yep.
I can't say, slippery. There's all these arguments that are not really that solid about why that's bad. As a professional in the technology industry, a large company whose goal is to monetize hardware beyond selling the hardware through a means that isn't just selling you more software on top of it is as close to evil as I think you can get without being evil.
Well, sort of, right?
From the perspective, evil is a relative term of my own ideology as a technologist.
Here's the thing that people base, right? So it's, if you look at video games, right? We started out with arcades, and people loved arcades because, that the arcade games are way better than home games.
Also the social element.
And you would go in, and if you own the arcade, people would just keep paying you money. So you bought this thing, but that thing paid out. It just kept filling up with money all the time. Like, woo! It's a money machine, right? And that's what you like to own. And when you're a business, is money machines.
But then one guy was like, wait a minute. The Crane game makes 10 times the money compared to what I pay for it.
What happened is there's a console at home. People could get as good as arcade at home.
I don't think that killed the arcade.
No, but I mean, the point is that that did not make anyone a money machine. It was
It made Nintendo a money machine.
Yes, but it was they need to kept working hard for you to make more stuff. They wouldn't just make money off of you.
Well, see, that's where you're getting at. This is why this bothers me.
You could play Mario as much as you wanted from home, but now they've sort of got the best thing they've ever wanted, these businesses, in the current time period.
Well, because
they basically installed an arcade machine in your house, and all the quarters get teleported to their house, and you actually paid to put the machine there. It's like you pay them to install a machine. Would you pay to have someone put a laundry machine in your basement that you had to put quarters into, and the quarters went to them if the laundry machine was half price?
Again, that's fine. Here's where it bothers me. We want to make money when people use it, not just when they buy it, is very close to we want to make money when someone resells our book, game, movie, whatever, not just when they buy it the first time. The erosion of first sale rights.
Well, that's, an old story.
No, they're part and parcel, because this statement and what they're doing, the fact that I could buy a washing machine for half price, but then the quarters go, that's fine. The problem lies...
If you sell that washing machine to me, the quarters still go to that first guy.
The problem lies if I cannot modify the machine to keep the quarters. Once I own hardware, I think I have a unilateral right to do whatever the fuck I want with it.
Yep.
Obviously, barring things like if I beat someone over the head with a Kindle until they die.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be illegal to hack your Kindle to remove the ads.
Yes, so it once
but,
so one.
But it would
CVD
be
TPA. The CVD TPA likes. There has always been this huge push by large industry to get it to the point where they actually largely would like it to be a crime for you to circumvent hardware restrictions and hardware you own for personal use.
Yeah, to keep the quarters that are in your laundry machine.
So if I
house.
buy the Kindle with ads on it and I hack it to where the ads aren't there anymore, could that be a crime now? And more importantly, would Amazon ever lobby to make that a crime? Because there is a perverse incentive to criminalize the use of your own hardware if the company has a vested interest in making money from the software running on the hardware. That is what I'm worried about.
Yeah. Well, I think the real thing is that, even if they don't want to make it a crime, it's what I said before, is the situation where, okay, look, people are reselling things, right? But if we make money from people using the thing, then it doesn't matter if we don't get any money on the resale in forms of a new sale because the quarters still go to us. So if we sell you a washing machine for half price, we get all the quarters teleported to us.
Yeah, but if I buy the washing
machine... Now you
machine...
sell the washing machine to me, right? Now normally they would be pissed because they didn't get another washing machine sale. They could have sold 2 washing machines, a new one to you and a new one to me, and they wanted you to throw that one out. But because you sold it to me, they lost a sale. But now they've got 2 houses teleporting quarters to them. So
but that's fine.
That's how they still make money.
But that's fine if I can just open up the machine and have the quarters bender back out on a string. As soon as they criminalize the bender string, it's like if I bought a payphone and then it was a crime for me to take the quarters out of my own payphone.
Right, but here's the other situation, right? Right now, at least, hardware, when people sell you hardware, you do own the hardware. But, for example, the laundry machines in my building take quarters. Do you think those quarters go to my landlord? I don't think they do. I think they go to some service company he's got like a contract with.
That's fine.
That's right. But it's like these hardware that's in his building, but some other guy owns and operates it. And soon what you're going to see is, if we sort of win the battle of owner decides, it's going to be like, okay, you don't even own your fucking Kindle. It's owned and operated by us. Is just in your house.
Yes, now that is where the perverse incentive comes in. If I can just cut that tether and get it and hack it to make it work, that should be okay. And if that's not okay, that's not okay.
Well, Cory Doctorow actually had a pretty recent speech about this, a talk he gave. And what he talked about was how we keep fighting for basically the rights of the owner, right? It's sort of obvious to us. Yeah, whoever owns hardware decides how it works, right? And he talks about how the company owns the computer at work, so they decide what goes on the computer at work. We'll lock that shit down, right?
Yeah.
And he talks about
So what about when someone else owns the hardware legally?
He basically talked about what if we got what we wanted, then what? So if we got what we wanted, he basically says we need rights of the user, even if the user doesn't own the hardware.
No, what we need we need something much simpler than that.
And he says he doesn't know how, the solution to that would be. He just shows all the problems that would happen.
I think it's actually pretty simple.
We got what we wanted.
Here's 2 examples. One, we have the nominal right of first sale. I think that needs to be expanded.
But you don't own. I can't resell the laundry machine I don't own.
We need it to be expanded such that if someone sells me a physical thing, in certain circumstances, regardless of any license they have, if it is not a lease, if it is a purchase, there's got to be a way where I can
Fine, they'll just start leasing technology. Your cell phone company will just start leasing the phones out. There's loopholes all over the place. This is what you always do to me when I come up with an idea.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're leasing your cell phone. You can't buy it. They don't offer to sales of cell phones.
So you could expand that further by having... you could try to argue that those lease contracts, because there's no other option, are therefore one-sided, which are already not okay.
How are you going to write this law?
Well, Scott, the problem is with any reform is you can't make any laws in the U.S., so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyway, we talked about that for a while.
Do we want to talk about anything else?
Let's do one more really quick. Two quickies. So IE10, of course, there's that whole thing about the do not track bit, which... I feel like the do not track bit was a non-starter.
Well, it's because nobody who is doing tracking wants to not track. And basically this method requires them to...
Well, the method, the thing is, theoretically not following it, if it was well known and well communicated, could constitute a breach of other rules.
Yeah, they would need a law to force companies to do this.
But anyway I want to talk about the hissy fit that happened when Microsoft did what I think is the good thing and said, you know what? We're going to enable the do not track bit by default.
And why did Microsoft do this? People are thinking, why would Microsoft do a good thing? It's obvious. Microsoft is the browser owner that isn't an advertising company, right?
Yeah.
So they want, they don't want Google to make money by tracking. They want that stuff off by default, to be better for them. It's helping them. That's why they do it. They're not doing it because they're, not evil.
You could argue it was a pseudo false flag operation. You could argue that they didn't want it to happen. So they did this knowing that everybody else would throw a hissy fit and the format would, or the standard would thus be invalidated de facto.
That's true. The other thing is you say, why doesn't Mozilla do this, right? Because Mozilla doesn't
so
like
the
tracking.
argument why no one did it is that if it is opt out of tracking as opposed to opt in, the behavior is very different. If it is opt out of tracking, then the majority of people won't bother to opt out. And
no one goes to the options and the hidden checkbox.
But if you set it to opt in, then nobody's going to say, yes, track me.
Right.
So that everyone evil and everyone who's just greedy needs it to be opt out.
But I'm saying is that the reason Microsoft did it is because they don't make money from advertising, so this can make them look good, to disable it by default. Now, why doesn't Mozilla, who is open source and awesome...
Scott, their argument, Mozilla's argument and everyone's argument was that if it's opt out as opposed to opt in...
Mozilla doesn't care about... Mozilla doesn't want people to be tracked.
I know.
The reason that they left it as opt out of tracking instead of opt into tracking like Microsoft did is because, number one, the open source Mozilla type people are obsessive about standards and adhering to them.
No, but
and
I know what you're getting. I was going to say the same thing.
A lot of Mozilla's monies come from Google.
But also, the standard, everyone argued that if any major browser made it to where it was on by default, that everyone would ignore it, and they might have justification in doing so, and it would make it thus useless. It would be about as effective as... What the comparison everyone makes is that it would just be the opposite of the evil bit.
Yeah, it's like...
You know about the evil bit,
That's
right?
like if you go...
Have you ever read that RFC?
Yeah. It's like, it's really... The whole idea was kind of dumb. I mean, the idea is basically, all right, everyone, we're going to leave our bikes in the street unlocked, but nobody's allowed
the do not steal bit.
We're going to put it... Anyone who puts a little sticker on their bike that says do not steal, you're not allowed to steal those ones.
You know what would be interesting if we did that?
It's like bike thieves are just
If you stole a bike that had that sticker... Felony, life sentence.
Right.
Bike doesn't have a sticker, $10 fine.
Of course, Microsoft, the company that makes their money selling new bikes and not stolen bikes, or stealing bikes, is like, yeah, free do not steal stickers on all our bikes. You don't have to buy the do not steal sticker.
So anyway, this issue
or
aside,
even apply it yourself.
I want to talk about how the guy who I think wrote the standard for Do Not Track is super pissed and threw a hissy fit that Microsoft set it to be enabled by default. And... I looked. He
probably loves tracking and was just trying to sort of be nice, but still make he was probably thinking, hey, tracking is totally awesome. I make mad money on this, but there's obviously some people who really want to turn it off. I can look like a really good guy if I let them opt out, and the people who are blocking all the ads anyway.
So he submitted a patch to Apache. And I'm looking at the actual text of the patch right here, and the first thing in it is a comment that says, "Deal with user agents that deliberately violate open standards."
Right,
and then he's like,
that makes it sound like maybe he's one of those standards nuts, which is you must follow the standard no matter what it is.
And then it's like, if it's IE10. Bad do not track. Unset do not track.
Yeah. So basically track everyone with IE10 whether they want to be tracked or not.
And the comments on this patch are that's that. There's a funny image in the comments. You should go look at the comments and look at the image there. It's pretty good.
Whatever. It's a dumb idea. They should just freaking, have an ad block for the tracking. That, that's the best method is.
That's what I was going to say.
Right?
Forget standards. The real answer is the internet is the web, not the internet. The web is you seek out information, it's given to you in an abstract format, and you format it and display it however you like.
Yep.
So I just don't display things I don't want to see, and I don't give out information I don't want to give out.
Yeah, I send some bits to a web server. It sends me back some bits, and then I can do whatever I want with those bits. It just so happens that
but Ted Turner says you're stealing if you do that.
Web browsers are programmed to do certain things with those bits by default. So we just have to modify the web browsers to do the things with the bits they get to be what we want them to do with them, the user wants to do with them, and not what the person who sends you the bits wants you to do with them. It's like the New York Times is like sending you a newspaper and forcing you, to read it one page at a time because it's like, no. You send me the pile of paper and I decide I'm only going to read the sports section. You can't make me do anything else. So
I feel like we're blowing a big load here because there's not a lot of Geeknights around this season. I got one more that I just found really fascinating. I was tweeting about it. This is away from technology into science. So there's a study in psychological science. It was a university study, and it's pretty solid in terms of the methodology, as far as I can tell, based on reading other people's commentary of it. Basically, they were looking for correlations between certain sorts of conspiracy theories and other kinds of ideologies to see if there are clusters of crazy.
So I'm sure that they
can
the
find
people who believe in lizard
people.
Bigfoot people probably also believe in chupacabras, right?
Yep. What was the South Park? They're like, if you believe in Bigfoot, you're either evil or stupid.
Yeah.
But basically, they found a really strong and interesting correlation that I think is worth noting. So what's the exact word? People who believe in a, quote, free market ideology
Okay.
are very much more likely statistically to deny the relationship between HIV and AIDS, to deny that there is climate change and that humans may be causing it, and to deny that smoking is correlated with lung cancer.
Okay.
But specifically, that's the thing. Free market ideology.
Are these people who said, now did they check to see what the people's ideologies were and then categorize them as free market? Or
No,
do they
asked
say,
direct questions.
do you believe in a free market ideology?
Direct questions. They asked about things like, is the story on Princess Diana's death plausible, or was she assassinated?
But I'm talking
Things
about
like that.
specifically the free market one, right? Because you could ask someone like,
No, they
do
asked
you
for the
think
words.
that
Do you believe in, quote, a
see.
free market ideology?
So that's actually different than checking to see
No, of
what the
course it
person's
is.
actual ideology
Of course it is. Look at all the studies that show that the majority of Americans are super for every piece of Obamacare, but against Obamacare, the title.
Exactly.
So yeah, no, this is people who say they believe in a free market ideology also say they believe in all this crazy bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that fascinating that the statistical correlation with those things was less than, for example, people who don't believe in the moon landing or other craziness, believing in similar crazy things. So conspiracy people seem to pigeonhole.
This is not really a revelation that someone who's crazy is likely to be crazy.
No, but here's the thing.
And that-
people who are crazy in certain ways are pigeonholed in just those ways. Like the guy who is, Princess Diana was assassinated is not also lizard people or HIV AIDS. But the guy
that guy's probably mostly focusing on political conspiracies like JFK who shot him and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He's not focusing on Bigfoots. He doesn't believe in Bigfoots.
But as far as I can
but
tell,
he believes in government conspiracies.
from these abstracts, one of the strongest correlations between anti-science was with people who are free market ideologists and not anything else. Independently, among people who aren't crazy, the primary driver of believing in a scientific theory is little more than consensus among scientists.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it, yeah.
That's the best I can do.
What do you want me to do? Research all the things myself? How long
Yeah.
do you think? I can't even read one paper and understand what it's saying.
I
It'd take me a
can't
week.
even read this full paper, but I can read these abstracts.
Yeah, but I can whatever.
I just found it really interesting. So yeah, Geek Nights, we're back, off and on.
Off mostly.
This has been Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geek Nights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.